In the heart of Mumbai, where skyscrapers kisses the clouds and the Arabian Sea whispers to the shore, lived Meera Kapoor, wife of one of the city's most successful businessmen. She had everything people usually dreamed of: luxury cars, a sea-facing penthouse in Wordy, diamonds glittering in velvet boxes, and invitations to the most elite parties in town. But beneath the silk sari and designer handbags, Meera carried a heart heavier than gold. Meera wasn't born into wealth. She grew up in a small chawl in Byculla. Her father was a rickshaw driver, her mother a tailor. Nights were often filled with hunger and days with the sound of unpaid rent collectors knocking on the doors. Young Meera promised herself that one day she would escape. She studied hard, worked as a receptionist, then as a secretary, and eventually married Rajiv Kapoor, a self-made businessman who built an empire in real estate. Today, they climb the ladder of success. Yet, while Rajiv was content with his achievements, Meera never stopped chasing more. Inside her heart, a voice whispered, "You suffered. You suffered once. Never let that happen again. Keep collecting, keep securing." She bought jewelries she never wore, handbags she never carried, clothes she never untagged. Her wardrobe overflowed, yet her heart remained restless. One morning, Meera was preparing for a charity gala. As she looked for her diamond necklace, she stumbled upon a heavy suitcase at the back of her closet. When she opened it, she found dozens of gold bangles, necklaces, and precious stones, some gifted, some bought, most forgotten. She touched them, but instead of joy, she felt a strange tightness in her chest. She whispered, "Why do I feel like those treasures are change? Why don't they make me happy?" That night, she sat on her balcony overlooking the Queen's necklace at Marine Drive. The city sparkled, but inside she felt dull. She realized she was still carrying the poverty of her past, not in her pockets but in her mind. A few days later, Meera visited a temple in South Mumbai. There, she saw an old woman sitting quietly on the temple steps, selling roses. Her sari was faded, her hands wrinkled, but her smile was radiant. Meera, curious, asked, "Auntie, don't you feel tired sitting here every day? Don't you wish for a better life?" The old woman laughed softly. "Beta, once I had everything, a house, jewelry, family. Life took it all away. For years I cried. But then I realized if I hold on to what is gone, I will never see what is still here. I let go. Now I live with peace. Look, I sell flowers, but my heart is lighter than gold." Her words struck Meera like lightning. She thought, "I have everything, yet I feel heavy. She has almost nothing, yet she feels free." That evening, Meera returned home and opened the heavy suitcase again. She sat before it for hours. Slowly, she began to take out pieces of bangles she never wore, necklaces she never touched, and earrings still sealed in boxes. She thought of her mother, who stitched clothes tirelessly just to buy her a school uniform. She thought of her father, who gave up meals so she could eat. Neither of them hold gold, but both had contentment. With tears in her eyes, Meera made a decision. The next morning, she packed many of her unused jewelries and clothes and quietly donated them to a women's shelter in Dharavi. The women there were widows,
single mothers, and abandoned wives. When they received the gifts, their faces lit up with gratitude. For the first time in years, Meera felt lighter. Rajiv noticed the change. One evening, as they had tea together, he said, "Meera, you look different, happier. What changed?" She smiled and replied, "I emptied the suitcase, Rajiv. Not just the one in the closet, but the one in my heart. I was carrying fear and greed all along. Now I understand real richness is not about what we store, but about what we share." Rajiv held her hands and said, "You have become wiser than me. This is the Meera I always wished to see." From that day on, Meera started new initiatives. Instead of buying jewelries, she funded education for poor girls in her old neighborhood. Instead of hoarding saris, she organized charity auctions. Instead of chasing more, she practiced gratitude every morning. Her heart, once heavy with fear, now overflowed with contentment. Years later, people in Mumbai still admire Meera Kapoor not just as the wife of a billionaire, but as a woman who transformed her life by letting go. Whenever someone asked her secret, she would smile and say, "Your hands cannot hold peace if they are already full of burdens. Let go, and you will discover the less you carry, the freer you feel. The emptiness of your hands can become the fullness of your heart." And so, from that chaos of Byculla to the penthouse of Wordy, Meera's journey became a story not of wealth but of wisdom. Moral of the story: contentment is the greatest treasures. True freedom comes not from holding on, but from letting go. So this was the story. If you like this story, dear listeners, please like, share and subscribe to Snaptales for more life-changing stories. Until next time, keep your heart free and your life full. Bye bye.